Hey there, fight fans! Today in this video, a controversial decision made by an organization has sparked a heated debate in the world of mixed martial arts. Australian UFC champion Alexander Volkanovski publicly supported the accusations of teammate Dan Hooker against Islam Makhachev. The accusations have garnered the attention of the US anti-doping agency, which could lead to a significant disqualification for Makhachev. Some fans speculate that the UFC may intentionally create problems for Makhachev, and the situation with Islam has become an example of the complex politics and behind-the-scenes maneuvering that goes on in the sport. So we're going to dive in and see what's actually going on. Also in this video, fans are eagerly awaiting to see whether there will be a rematch between Makhachev and Volkanovski, or if the feud between them will fizzle out without a resolution. And then at the end of the video, after the departure of Khabib, the promotion of Nurmagomedov's wards clearly cooled off pretty sharply. When White finally realized that Nurmagomedov was not coming back, Khabib's team lost value in Dana White's eyes.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
Because, can you imagine the head of the UFC forgetting the names of Conor McGregor, St-Pierre, or Jon Jones? All of which previously topped the pound-for-pound rating, but he forgot the name of Makhachev? Come on, how so? And in addition, White did not attend the event in Australia at all. How could he miss what he was calling one of the greatest fights in UFC history?
And yeah.
But before we kick off the video, I want to ask you just one more time to please like and subscribe to the channel. We will soon be at 50,000 subs, so thank you very much in advance. Now, as you already know, the rankings have come out, and Alexander Volkanovski is still the first on the pound-for-pound rating. Then New Zealander Dan Hooker brought up something against Makhachev, saying allegedly after the weighing-in ceremony, Makhachev was given a dropper containing substances that helped him quickly recover and gain weight. However, such medical intervention is prohibited by USADA because it can help remove illegal drugs from the blood. Even Volk personally supported those accusations against Islam Makhachev as well. And reigning UFC featherweight champ Alexander Volkanovski made it clear that his teammate Dan Hooker expressed the team's consensus by accusing Islam of violating the organization's anti-doping policy. I would say that in combat he weighed about 81 kilograms. Does not prove otherwise, well, he faces a very long disqualification, which could put an end to his career. After these accusations, a photo of Islam with a bruise on his elbow appeared in the Australian press, apparently from a needle. But Khabib's team manager, Rizvan Magomedov, clarified that the photo was taken during the weight-cutting process, not afterwards, and that it was a legal blood sampling for anti-doping purposes. And of course, USADA immediately took an interest in this situation, as USADA released an official statement saying, "We take all reports of possible doping violations very seriously and actively investigate all incoming information. The predictions are not optimistic. If the accusations against Islam Makhachev are proven, he could face a significant disqualification of up to 2 years. But there are concerns that if they prove it, USADA will not hesitate to impose the maximum sentence on him. Because as many of you have noticed, the organization does not really like seeing Makhachev as a champ. The problem is that after the departure of Khabib, the promotion of Nurmagomedov's training partners has clearly cooled off dramatically. When Dana White finally realized that Nurmagomedov would not be returning, I think that team lost a lot of value in the eyes of Dana White because none of them would create the necessary hype needed, kind of like what Khabib was doing beforehand. Now, Makhachev is a great fighter, but he does not like scandals, kind of like Jon Jones and Conor McGregor, where you're going to keep your name in the news, which greatly reduces spectator interest. And as you remember, the UFC president previously called the fight between Islam and Volk one of the most high-profile in the history of the promotion, but then during the press conference he forgot the name of Makhachev. However, could you imagine the head of the UFC forgetting the names of Conor McGregor, GSP, Jon Jones, Chuck Liddell, etc.? Come on, a lot of those guys topped the pound-for-pound rating in previous years. And in addition, White did not attend the event in Australia. I mean, come on, how could he miss out on what he is claiming to be one of the biggest fights in UFC history? I mean, Dana is present at all major high-profile fights. He is the head of the UFC, so he attends even minor events, but he did not want to even personally present the belt to Makhachev. Dana has only shown such disrespect a few times. For example, if we recall correctly, Francis Ngannou, when he also did not want to enter the octagon and give Ngannou the belt. Now, if White is indeed intentionally snubbing Makhachev, it then raises questions about his motives and potentially his bias. Some fans are speculating that White is intentionally sidelining Makhachev in order to give other fighters a chance to shine, while others believe that White may simply not see Makhachev as a very big draw for the promotion. Now, whatever the reasons are for White's actions, it is clear that he doesn't want to see Makhachev as champ. Islam is a very talented fighter with great potential. He has an impressive record and has proven himself in the octagon time and time again. But if Dana continues to ignore him, it could have long-term consequences for Makhachev. On the other hand, the UFC is a business first and foremost, and it is understandable that they would favor the fighters who are going to be bringing in the most revenue.
I don't give a f.
I'm not telling the media anything. Fuck 'em.
But overall, the situation with Makhachev is just one example of the complex politics and the behind-the-scenes things that are going on in the world of mixed martial arts. As the sport continues to grow and evolve, it's going to be interesting to see how these dynamics play out and what impact they will have on the fighters, the fans, and the promotion as a whole. Now, I know for sure that Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski should have another fight. I mean, come on, that fight was great, so why not run it back? And if not in the near future, then at least sometime in the future. Whatever the case may be, there is no denying that a potential rematch between them would be one of the most eagerly anticipated fights in recent memory. For example, former UFC champ Daniel Cormier sees no point in an immediate rematch between Makhachev and Volkanovski, saying, "I'm not sure I want to see an immediate rematch. I don't know why Makhachev might need this rematch now because the reality is that he won the fight." Now, if I personally were Makhachev, I would have sought a rematch from the UFC just in order to shut everyone up. But whether or not that happens, well, that remains to be seen. But for now, fans can only wait and watch as the drama unfolds. Will there be a rematch, or will the feud fizzle out between the two? The only thing that is certain is that the world of mixed martial arts will be watching very closely to see what happens next.